Okay, so we got WWE Breaking Point. We got Great Khali versus Kane in a Singapore Kane match. Apparently, they had to drop the Dolph Ziggler and Morrison match, so this match could have more time because it's obviously a 4-star match. I am going to say the winner is I don't care. Yeah.
Yo, man, this is what I'm talking about. If Vince isn't releasing wrestlers and devaluing them before they leave the company, he's like, hey, you've been a respectable worker, but what? Now you want to go see your family? Oh, I don't think so. Devalue you. You're going to lose in a dark match. Then he's going to boot people, which is almost a bigger insult. Two good wrestlers from a pay-per-view to showcase two crappy wrestlers, and that's a pretty big insult. Vince loves insulting his wrestlers. It's all subconsciously. You gotta look in between the lines. But Vince hates wrestlers. Only loves entertainers. Yeah, we got MVP and Henry versus Big Show and Jericho. Wow, I remember Big Show back in WCW when he could do drop kicks. Now he's old. Jericho. I'm just gonna go with Big Show and Jericho just because Jericho's on there and Jericho made me laugh. It's all about the Attitude Era. It's coming back, I know it.
No. Once in a lifetime, I'm sorry. Christian versus Regal in hopefully not another 8-second match. He's also bringing with him Ahmed Johnson version 2. I mean, Ezekiel Jackson and Vladimir Kozlov. I will dub this the Embassy. I think that'd be a cool stable. I want Regal to win so he can kind of do a Booker T thing where he's kind of like, oh, I rule over ECW. I mean, not with the crown and the specter and all that stuff, but he'll pretend he's royalty. I mean, after all, he won King of the Ring in 08. So yeah, I don't know. I'd kind of like him to win. And plus, Regal's a good worker, and I mean, give him a belt, for goodness sakes, even if it's ECW belt. Plus, then Christian can do other stuff. Maybe switch brands and whatnot. So yeah, I dub it the Embassy, but I'm sure they'll call it some stupid name. I don't know if that's taken, actually.
Okay, let's get this over with. We got I thought these guys were over in 06. When they brought him, I was actually happy for like 2 seconds when they came back in 06, just for nostalgia reasons. And then it was dumb. Submissions count anywhere. Well, of course DX will go over.
The only problem is if Legacy, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, I don't see them together that much longer. So it wouldn't make too much sense to build them up too much as some kind of, dominant tag team that takes out senior citizens like DX. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just thinking if they build them up too much, it's a bad thing. But if they start de-emphasizing them, which they've pretty much been doing all year, they made them, Randy Orton's lackey. That's a bad thing. Is what I don't know. I'm just gonna go with Legacy. We have Orton and Cena in an I Quit match. Cena is Superman. He apparently gets RKO'd and gets up in 10 seconds. Now I know, depending on if you're a jobber, a mid-card, or a main eventer, you're expected to sell a move to a certain point. Usually a jobber sells a move more than a main eventer just because that's just how things are. A Batista bomb to the Brooklyn Brawler, he'll be out for 10 minutes. But a Batista bomb to somebody like, we'll just say John Cena. John Cena will get up faster. Unless, of course, he breaks his... Yeah, I'm going to go with Cena. Yo, man, Superman, Cena's winning. Okay, we're in agreement. Punk Taker. Now, Punk is
another one of those guys that WWE, basically mainstream wrestling in general, has just squeezed the passion of wrestling out of him and just merchandise him, make him a merchandise whore. Punk actually has a lot of submission moves, but he's not allowed to showcase them because, once again, Vinnie Mac says wrestling is bad.
We always want to mention the Attitude Era. you know, how great it was or whatever. Well, not all, some of us. But I think it was just our generation, you know, that I'm going to say the 18 to 25-year-olds that really worship it. The older and the younger fans were doing what we do now, you know, in the now generation or whatever they want to call it. They complain like we, when I mean we, I mean some, pretty much most. The 18 to 25-year-olds are like, oh, bring back the Attitude Era. The current era sucks. But the generation below us and perhaps above us are like, you know, it's good stuff. So it just sometimes it seems like a generational thing. Because the same thing with the 80s. I bet you the older fans were like, oh, what's this Hulk Hogan, you know, too much showboating and wrestling and, you know, too much gimmicks and, you know, let's go back to the old days of, you know, a dude in black trunks, a dude in white trunks putting on 20-minute headlocks. I mean, I think wrestling just moves with not only pop culture but just the general I don't know, general attitude of society.
Trying to say in a roundabout way, because you can't shoot, is that every style, every era of wrestling is compared to the previous. So of course, you're never going to live up to the expectations, or vice versa. You're never going to sink that low. So basically, if you compare, well, let's say the 80s to now, you might say wrestling's been better. Because it's not like there's more independence, really. It's just that we have more access to various independents with the internet and such. So yeah, it's always going to be compared to previous eras. And I think I pretty much summed it up good, but I can see your points, your roundabout blabbering. Sure, whatever, let's just move on.
Okay. So, and then of course we got No Surrender, but the card's incomplete. All I can say is Abyss versus Kevin Nash. Yeah. So, thank you, wrestling. So yeah, thank you, wrestling fan 7777777 for being on the show. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, about the whole state of wrestling, but I think it'll be all right.
I don't know, man. Wrestling's in a bad state. But thanks for having me on the show. You slightly impressed me. I think you're still kind of dumb, but whatever.
Just take that as a compliment, and thanks for everyone for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in November for season 3, where we shake things up a bit. Take care.